All right, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to Homestead Heart. I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna apologize in advance for this, okay? You all remember when I started my onion seeds, all right? And when I started my onion seeds, I did a video. I don't know how long ago it was, but it's been several weeks ago, right? So now, you all, I was filming, showing you all how I step them up just a bit before I transplant them. And I also shared with you, I think in a previous video, how I lost a lot of them. It just kind of got kind of warm outside and then they dried out. I think it just got too hot for them where I had them at, even though I had them underneath a shade tree, right? So I think they just was in a position to where the sun got to them on the end. But in any case, a lot of them did survive, right? And what I planted was the White Castle, Texas Early, and Red Creole. And they all did fairly well. And I planted them in these little trays right here, okay? And after I planted them in these little trays right here, I decided to go ahead and step them up before I transplant. So that's the part where I didn't film, all right? So I just decided to go ahead and redo this so that you can kind of get a better idea of what I did and what I'm about to do next. So now, as you can see, I've already stepped them up from these little trays. Literally all I did was the seeds or the plants that were in these trays, you all, they were about so high. Some of them burned, some of them didn't, but they were about maybe this high above, yeah, about this high above the tray. And I just decided, because I densely planted them, that it was time to go ahead and step them up, because I'm not ready to plant them in the ground yet. It's still too warm for me to do that, all right? So as you could see, I moved my table from under the tree and I pulled it to the back of the greenhouse because the sun is switching positions, right, as we go into winter. So now the tree here gives so much more shade. And so I pulled them back here in the shade, which is where they are, and I've already stepped them up, okay? Now, what I did was simply, you all, in order to step them up, I'm gonna bring y'all a little closer. Just want y'all to see. Okay, so literally, you all I did here was just simply, if this tray was covered, and this is all for the new gardeners too, because I know the seasoned gardeners, everybody has their way. But I literally just pull this out just like so, this little patty in my hand, and then I just started to break it apart like so, okay? I just start breaking it apart, and I would break it apart into pieces that were the size, a decent enough size for me to take and get it down into one of these cells, okay? So I literally put a little potting soil in the bottom. I put this down in, and then I covered it a bit more with some extra potting soil and a little bit of worm castings, and that's it. And I even put some bone meal in here too, right? Just to give the roots some extra fertilizer as well. And that's literally what I did to step them up. And this is what I have right here. And I'm gonna say, you all, remind you all, especially for all of our new gardeners, okay, especially for all of our new gardeners, when you go to places like Lowe's, Home Depot, even if you don't buy plant starts, you all, they have this stuff thrown to the side. And if you ask them for them, you can have them. This is my second year with these. And as you can see, they still doing just fine. You just got to take care of them and be gentle with them, because they're very flimsy. But if you be gentle with them, they'll last you a minute, right? So this is my second year with these. So I've had these for some time. So now, what I'm getting ready to do, you all, is I'm gonna start some more seeds, okay? So these are several weeks ahead of these. And I'm getting ready to start some more of the Texas Early, which is a yellow onion. And all I'm going to do, I've already added some of my starting mix to this container right here. And actually what I need to do is grab a little bit of worm castings and a little bit of bone meal. I'm not going to edit this video, so y'all give me 2 seconds, okay? I'll be back. I'm not going far. I'm going right here to grab some bone meal and some worm castings. And that's it. Oh. Almost. Okay, I'm on my way. Here I come. All right. So I got me a little bit of worm castings and a little bit of bone meal in this right here. So, and then I already have my seeds right here as well. So I'm going to bring you even closer now. Because like I said, I'm just about to replant these. I'm going to start some more seeds is what I'm doing. And why am I doing this? Because this isn't enough, right? We can just never seem to really grow enough onions. We grew about 35 pounds of onions ourselves. We turned around and purchased 50 pounds of onions from the market. That still wasn't enough. You know why? Because we put onions in 90+% of all of our meals, with the exception of things like oatmeal and, you know, stuff you wouldn't put onions in. But we love onions, and whether I caramelize them, can them, freeze dry them, or just have them in storage. We keep them in storage as long as we can, but once they start to go bad, that's when it's time to start processing them. Even if it means getting them in the freezer, it's time to get them put away, right? So, by my calculations, you all, for us and the way we use onions, we can easily plant about 120 to 100, and well, we hope after planting that we can get about 120 to 150 pounds of onions, and perhaps that would last us from season to season. So if we only grew onions once a year, hopefully that 150 pounds, frozen, canned, storage, dehydrated, will last us an entire year. Because we do eat a lot of onions. And I know that may seem like a lot of onions to some people. 150 pounds, I know that seems like a lot to some people. But we really love a lot of onions in our food. I mean, we do. Everything we do, okay? Even if I do chicken or whatever, I can make chicken and rice. Well, an onion is going in the chicken, and it's probably going in the rice too. So we eat a lot of onions, you all. So I'm gonna go ahead now and get this tray right here planted. And I just decided to plant them in a larger container because I am not going to pot these up. Move some of that perlite out of the way. Well, it's kind of all through here because it's my seed starting mix. But anyway, I'm just gonna take my onions, and these again are the Texas Early. And I'm going to be generous with this seeding, okay? I'm not skimping on the seeds. I got a leaf. And I'm just gonna put this all around in this. I know y'all can't see that, but I'll do it this way. See? I'm really putting a nice bit around here because I really want to get a good amount of onion to germinate. And it's okay that you overseed your onions, okay? It's perfectly fine that you overseed. Look, I'm gonna put all those in 1 cup. That's perfectly fine to overseed your onions, because they may or may not all germinate, right? So yeah, I'm gonna use all of them. This was about 1/4 of a cup of onion in this. And then I'm just, oh, I forgot they had holes in it. So then I'm just gonna take a little bit of my take a little bit of my bone meal here, and I'm literally just gonna sprinkle a little bit over the top. Nothing fancy. I could have mixed this down in the soil, which is probably what I should have did, but it's gonna be, I broke it, but it'll be okay, trust me. It'll be perfectly fine. This is not gonna burn them. This bone meal will not burn your plants, all right? This is a good organic fertilizer. It is not gonna burn your plants at all. Just mixing that in right along with the seeds, just mixing it around. And hopefully this can help you to see how easy it is to start your seeds. It's really not anything that you really got to like stress about and all of that. You just want to get a seed in the ground. You just want to plant something. Just mixing that around like so. I know I got a mess here, but that's okay. I got all this bone meal on top that I don't need. I'm gonna scoop as much of that out as I can because I don't need it. I got enough in there now. I don't want to overdo it. All right, and then I got my worm castings is what I'm going to use to do like a light dusting over the top. And then I'm just gonna tamp that down. Just give it a tamp down because we want those seeds to make good soil contact. Is what we're doing when I tamp. I'm not pressing it down, I'm just tamping it down, okay? Making sure that those seeds have good soil contact is all I'm doing. And that's it. I hear you back there. I forgot what the name of that bird is, but I heard it. All right. Okay. Whoops. Now all I'm gonna do is give this a gentle water. I don't even have to water a lot because my seed starting mix was quite moist already. So I don't even have to water these a lot. I just want to make sure that my seeds are moistened. And that's it. Oh man. So yeah, I just want to make sure that my seeds are good and moist. I'm going to water them one more time. Try not to disturb them too much. Without wetting my camera. Because I would just kind of sweep this across in the distance, you know, kind of like that. Just give it a sweep, but I don't want to get my camera wet. Yeah, no, I ain't doing it. All right, and I just want to give them a nice little, sorry y'all. Give them a nice little, oops, drink of water. Let me straighten y'all back up. Wash my hands. Okay, so now that's that. All right, y'all. So hopefully am so sorry. Trying to get y'all positioned back like I had you. Okay, so now that's really what I wanted to show you all about me really up potting my onions. Oh, forgot. So now, up potting them, why did I do it that way in the first place? Because here in Georgia, this is going to be my first time doing it this way here in Georgia, okay? But in the fall, this is a great time really to plant your onions, start your seeds and all of that in the fall. Why? Well, for us doing it this way, it takes a lot of the load off of trying to get a spring garden planted. It's like when the temperatures start to cool down here in the fall, getting as much done in the fall to help you with your spring garden. I know that's like thinking way in advance, right? But this helps to lighten that workload, and realizing for us, like, we need a way to lighten our workload, especially when it comes to spring and summer garden planting. We needed a way to lighten that load. And so instead of waiting to plant starts, onion plants or seed in January and all of that, we can do it now. We don't have to worry about heating mats and keeping them warm and all. We don't have to do any of that, because once they start to grow like this, we can plant them in the ground. And then we will put some mulch hay. We'll take the hay from our goat pen and we will cover that bed and we will overwinter them in the ground. And I added, like I said, a little bit of bone meal to this just to kind of help with root growth, right? We want the bulb to grow a little bit more. And that way, when I get them in the ground and fertilize them in the ground and overwinter them, and depending on how tall these tops are, I'll cut these tops back even, right? Because I don't want my tops to be extremely big. You know, I will cut the tops back and bury them and bury the plants under the mulch hay, and then I won't bother them again until spring, okay? Now, I have time. This is Georgia Zone 8. I have time. I've started more seeds. By the time I'm ready to transplant these in somewhere around November, then these will be a nice size. This is September, so these will be a good size that I can transplant them from these cups, which were also free from Lowe's, right? So, or Home Depot, wherever you want to get them from, they free. And so starting them in these cups, I will not have to really step these up or up pot them no matter what size they get. I'll just take them out of here when they get a certain size and separate them, and directly into the garden they will go, and I will plant them between 4 and 6 inches apart, maybe like 4.5, maybe to 5 inches, because I realized like planting our onions 6 inches apart, they really didn't need it. I could have planted them 4 inches apart, 5 inches apart. They would have been fine, saving space to be able to get just a few more onions in, right? And so we'll see if planting them this way will allow us to get that 100 plus pounds of onions that we feel we need to have to feed our family for 1 full year, okay? Now remember, now, I know when you used to go into the grocery store, you get a little 5-pound bag of onions and that might last you, and that's good. But remember, here on the homestead and like so many others, we don't really grow food to get enough to last us a month or two. We try to grow enough food to last us until it's time to plant and harvest that food again. Hence the reason why we're fighting to not need a grocery store, right? We're fighting to grow our own groceries. Is that correct? Grow your groceries. So that's what we'll do with this. Once these come up, we will just literally take these out, break them apart, and transplant them directly into our onion beds and move forward. So after we plant our garlic about mid-October And then just a few weeks after that, our onions will go in the ground as well. Okay, so you all, I hope that helps. I'm so sorry that you didn't get a chance to see me doing that footage of me actually separating these onions out. As you could see, some of the tops were brown. Some of the tops were really brown on these. I'm telling you, they just got hot. They really did. But maybe now that the temperatures are beginning to cool down more in the evenings and overnight, and that early morning temperature is really nice and cool, maybe these will go ahead and be fine, and I'm positive that they will. And then we have more coming right behind them as well. Okay, so that's gonna do it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that we upload to our channel. Thank you all again for watching Homestead Heart. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Remember, you all, grow your groceries. All right, see y'all in the next video.